following takes place between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Events occur in real time.
Oh, Rubber Ducky, you're the one! Rubber Ducky, lots of
Okay, perhaps we could speed up a bit after I have already gotten dressed for work. Oh, much better. Hello, recruits. It's me, Special Agent Jack Bow Wow. Don't you just love that sound? I am a high-level training supervisor for a very important organization known as Q-TIP. Q-TIP stands for Questionable Training in Progress. As my personal recruits, I feel that I should clue you in on what has happened to me today thus far. This morning, I had already gotten dressed and put my suit on when I realized I was in a bit of a hurry. I hadn't eaten any breakfast, so I ran over, grabbed my hot cup of coffee and my toast, and headed straight for the door. Well, as I ran towards the door, I didn't notice my little puppy dog Palmer laying in the middle of the kitchen floor. I tripped right over Palmer, and my hot cup of coffee went in the air and got all over my suit. Not only that, but Palmer ate my piece of toast. Huh. Well, by the time I had changed clothes, I was running so far behind, I got into my vehicle and sped to work. Well, wouldn't you know it, I got a speeding ticket on the way here. It was as if everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. You know, life is full of days like that, or even worse. Even followers of Jesus have troubled times and bad situations happen to them. Don't think that just because you become a Christian that life is going to be all candy and roses. Oh, far from it. Bad stuff happens. It's just part of life. But in your training today, you're going to learn about a promise that Jesus made to the disciples at the Last Supper. And it's a promise that he made to you and I as well. This promise will be exactly what you need to get you through anything that life throws at you. Now, as usual, I may have to contact you throughout the day. So set your satellite to this frequency and I'll break in when necessary. Well, time is of the essence, so I'm going to let you get into your training. Until next time, this is Special Agent Jack Bow Wow, signing off.
So we've been learning about the last 24 hours of Jesus' life. You probably remember that we left off. Jesus and his disciples were gathered for a meal that many call the Last Supper. So far, he has told them that they need to be able to serve each other in order to be a leader, and that he is going to leave earth and go to heaven to prepare a place for us to meet him. Now, towards the end of the meal, Jesus began to talk about something very different. He said, "In this world, you will have many trials and sorrows." The disciples were probably a little shocked. Why would Jesus be telling them this? If this was his last big speech before he went to heaven, shouldn't it be a little more encouraging? Why would Jesus want to predict that things were going to get hard for the disciples? The reason Jesus did this is because he knows the future. The disciples were about to face tremendous difficulties. They would be hated, beaten, jailed, and some would even be killed for telling the world that Jesus was the Savior. Jesus knew that this was coming, so he didn't want the disciples to be surprised when this did happen. Then, after letting them know that life was going to get hard, Jesus shared something incredible. Jesus said, "But take heart, for I have overcome the world." Jesus was telling the disciples that they could have courage and peace. They didn't have to worry and freak out. Jesus was promising that he would take care of the disciples. Nothing can stop the power of God. Today we're going to learn about the same lesson that the disciples learned. You are going to learn that although the world can be very difficult sometimes, Jesus will give you peace in the midst of trouble.
Well, children, it is I, Dr. Full of Wax, and I'm back with another secret message from Q-Tip's code book, the Bible. I shall discover and decipher its true meanings. Isn't that right, Mr. Cuddles? This week's secret message says, "Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world." John 16:33. Now this is an interesting message. Perhaps if I have some help saying it, then it would become more clearer to my brain. How about if the girls stand up and help me? Are you ready, girls? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world. John 16:33. Very good, girls. Now you can sit down. Now I need the boys to stand up to say it with me. Then maybe I can figure out what this message means. Ready, boys? On the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world. John 16:33. Great job. You can have a seat. Now I think I've actually cracked the code this week. You see, I have been having such a hard time with my henchmen lately. They're giving me such a headache. I tell them to execute my elaborate plans to eliminate Agent Bow Wow, and they always seem to mess it up. They get arrested, knocked out cold instantly, or they completely forget what to do. For instance, my recent plan was to go and capture a rare ruby from a museum. Instead, they brought me back the receptionist named Amber. Not even the same crystal. I don't know what to do with my stress. But this code is saying that life is full of hard times, and not to worry, that Jesus will give us peace. I may have solved it. But just to make sure I got it, let me have everyone stand up and say it with me. Ready, everybody? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world. John 16:33. Good job, everybody. You can have a seat. Well, Agent Bow Wow, looks like I cracked your code and learned something that would make me a better person. Nah, I better get back to trying to crack Q-Tip's code book, the Bible. Until next time, I'm Dr. Full of Wax, and this is Mr. Cuddles bidding you adieu.
Hello, recruits. It's me, Jack. Listen, by now you've probably heard about Jesus' promise that he made to his disciples at the Last Supper. Well, that promise is one that will help you and me get through all of life's most difficult situations. Oh, life is full of tough times, and we need to remember this promise. So, it's the most important part of your training, and I want you to sit up straight and pay close attention. This could change your life. It's a lesson your leader is going to teach you called When Things Go Wrong. Until next time, this is Special Agent Jack Bow Wow, signing off.
Life is full of hard times. When Jesus was sitting at the table with the disciples, he didn't say, "Guys, nothing bad will ever happen to you." Jesus said, "In this world, you will have many trials and sorrows." So why did Jesus feel the need to tell the disciples that life is full of hard times? Up to this point, everything had been pretty good for the disciples since they decided to follow Jesus. They had seen many miracles, but they didn't know that it was about what was about to happen. Jesus was preparing them. Have any of you ever had anything bad ever happen to you? We all have, right? You might have had a family member who died. Maybe you got really sick and were put in the hospital. You might have been bullied at school. Hard times are not fun. We don't like it when bad stuff happens. We all wish we could just go about life like the person in our video a moment ago, with nothing bad ever happening. But following Jesus doesn't mean life is going to be easy. Even when you are following Jesus, bad things will happen. But the good news is, because you follow Jesus, you don't have to worry. Jesus said, "But take heart," after he told the disciples there would be many trials and sorrows. Do you know what take heart means? It means to have courage. Don't be afraid. Don't worry. Do you know why we don't have to worry? Because Jesus gives me peace. Jesus overcame the world. Because he did, we can have peace. In the part right before our power verse in John 16:33, Jesus said, "I have told you these things so that you may have peace in me." When someone in your family dies, you can have peace in Jesus. When you get sick, you can have peace in Jesus. When you're getting bullied, you can have peace in Jesus. We might have hard times in our lives as followers of Jesus, but we can also have peace because we follow Jesus. Can you imagine living life without Jesus? Do you know what would happen if you didn't have Jesus? You would still have hard times and trouble. The problem is, you'd have hard times without the peace of Jesus. If you're going to have difficulty in your life, wouldn't you rather go through it with Jesus? We don't know what's ahead. We don't know when bad things will happen. But we can have peace because we follow Jesus. He is the one who knows what's going to happen before it ever does. And he is always on our side.
What did Jesus say this world was full of? Candy and rainbows, love and joy, or trials and sorrows? The answer is trials and sorrows.
Were the disciples surprised to hear that they would face trouble? Yes or no? The answer is yes.
Jesus said that the disciples could take heart because he had helped them overcome the world or ate a bowl of jelly beans. The answer is overcome the world.
Will Jesus give us peace during our troubles? Yes or no? The answer is yes.
According to our lesson today, life is full of yellow unicorns, hard times, or rough situations. The answer is hard times.
According to our lesson today, you don't have to fear, laugh, or worry. The answer is worry.
According to our lesson today, Jesus gives me peace, patience, or free food. The answer is peace.
Where was our power verse found? Ephesians 1:24, John 16:33, or Matthew 4:8? The answer is John 16:33.